to waste anybody's time, so right here, I'm going to go ahead and put my reasoning on the screen, and then after that, you can hear an explanation of each reason and why we chose what we chose. Hey, thank you very much for watching my videos, and not now, but when you get to the end, if you like it, press the thumbs up and all that other good stuff. We're just doing this for fun. We like the fuel mileage, and that sounds crazy at first because Motorhome only gets 7 or 8 miles to the gallon if you're lucky. But the reason that we do is we drive a Volkswagen diesel Jetta behind the Motorhome that gets 40 miles to the gallon when we get there. And typically, when we go to a location, we stay at that location for 3 months. So driving the small car around with the big motorhome, and since the car gets 40 miles to the gallon, motorhome gets 8, that means you average 30, right? That's my thoughts on it anyway. And my thoughts on a truck where you're lucky if you're getting 13 and maybe 20 when you're unhooked, but I don't even think that's a reasonable, but I could be completely wrong on that one. Number two, we enjoy traveling as a family. So whenever we're in the motorhome, I can go back and lay down. My wife also drives, and she's a very good driver, and I go sound asleep while she's driving, and so we cover a lot more ground that way. And with the bathroom back there, we may not even stop. We'll switch places and keep on going, get something to eat. My son, who is 15, does his cyber school while we're traveling down the road. And we also have one pet, which is a bird. And it's nice to have her around us, too, instead of her being locked in the back or whatever. Number three reason, we enjoy having the heated pipes. Like you have a heated basement on a motorhome where a lot of times on your travel trailers, the pipes are just out there. And don't get me wrong, none of these vehicles are meant to be lived in the winter. But a lot of times you have to travel from the very cold get to the warm. So we live in the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. So traveling to the warm area, we have gone through some really cold times, and we're very happy to have the furnaces running the heat down to the basement, which keeps the water warm. And that way, if we want to stop before we get to, a lot of times we try to get to South Carolina at least before we stop because it's not freezing down there. But occasionally we may want to stop before that. We haven't yet, but if we did, it would be nice to stop and know that we don't have to worry about anything freezing up. We have lived in it. My wife takes nursing contracts, so we've taken nursing contracts into November whenever the area was freezing, and we don't have to worry about the motorhome itself freezing out. Number next. Wife's telling me number four. Number next is because of the weight of the fat thing. And this is crazy, and it's maybe you won't want to count this one, but whenever we've been around hurricanes and tornadoes and all these other crazy things, it's nice to know that you're living in something fat that's used to going down the road at 80 miles an hour, where travel trailers, maybe go over a little more often. So that might not be a reasonable reason, but it's a good lie to myself. It helps me sleep better at night whenever those hurricanes and tornadoes are around and all that other good weather scary stuff. Number five, I believe. Well, I'm gonna need help. What's number five? We're gonna insert a commercial break here. Whenever we get there, we know what the temperature is going to be when we go to sleep because it's the temperature that we're running down the road. So it's nice to have your heating and air conditioning all hooked to the motor. Obviously, you can run a generator on a trailer. We also run the generator on the motorhome if it's hot whenever we're going down the road. And that leads me to number six, I guess, on this list. One of the reasons that we bought a motorhome is because we bought a very old one. We bought a 2001, and we bought it and the car for under 20,000. Now we'll have more than that invested after we have everything fixed. Like we bought new tires and new belts and hoses, and we're getting everything really good so that we can go down the road a lot. But um, the expense of buying a truck, we bought both of those things for the price of a truck. And the motorhome is a diesel motorhome. It's 2001. The slides are electric, and they open whenever it's not level, and they do a lot of nice things. And it's well built. I mean, it just feels like the floor is more solid than any travel trailer I've been in. And I'm sure there's better ones out there, especially when you're spending the money. But for somebody that's on a budget like we are, um, yeah, you can't beat buying an older motorhome. And so far, we really haven't had any problem with the 10-year rule. We've just sent the pictures. Yeah, Jamie, my wife's saying so far. Now, when you go out to California, they have taxes, so high taxes out there that they have beautiful old motorhomes because people fix them up. And so certain areas you're going to have less of a problem with those 10-year rules because people spend a tremendous amount of money on an older one because they don't have to pay the taxes on them. One of the other reasons that's kind of neat is that we can scout better. We pull the Volkswagen Jetta, and it's really easy to unhook and just drive around and see where you want to park the motorhome. So it's much easier to find a spot. Another reason is whenever we squeeze, we lie, okay? Shh, we lie. A lot of times to get in state parks in our area, you need to be to 30 to 35 feet. We're 36. Uh, it's so much easier to drive back that motorhome into a state park than it is to drive both parts. You have the truck and trailer that you have to back into a spot. We only have the trailer that's got an engine on it. So a lot of times people will see me pulling into a state park and be like, "Yeah, that guy's never going to fit in there." Well, it fits in real easy because I don't have to drive the truck. So that's been another real winner on that, and being able to unhook the car, go find our spot, come back, and usually Jamie just drives the car, and I drive the motor home. She's completely capable, but usually when we get there, I do the man's work. I like you backing in. All right. Last couple reasons I have. One, whenever you get there, in my opinion, the motorhome is easier to set up, but I never set up a trailer, so I really don't know. But you just back in there, press those buttons, the jacks go down, you level out, you run the slides out, which takes a couple seconds, and you're done. No unhooking anything other than the car that you unhooked, and that is so easy to unhook. We tow four down with a little standard Volkswagen Jetta. It takes literally under 3 minutes, 3 5 minutes to unhook it. Now, the other thing about the little tiny car that I like is whenever you're traveling around, whether you're going from Maine or any of those coastal cities, you're going through little tiny towns, and rather than drive the truck with four doors and everything, it's nice driving that little tiny Jetta wagon. The other thing is like down in Florida when we stay down there and you're going to the beach and all those locations like that, parking's hard to find. And with the little tiny car, you can fit in that nice little spot on the end, and you have plenty of room to open the doors and plenty of room to go out. And you just don't have that big of a vehicle and not that heavy. And like I said, the gas mileage is much better when you're driving around. And so I guess that's my final set of reasons for why we picked the motorhome over buying a truck and trailer. Does that sound like it? Hey, I want to thank everybody for listening to me. And if you like what you see, press that button and everything. But we don't know what we're doing. I just started this, and I'm really wanting to start it to network and see what's out there and just have a lot of fun with it. So, hey, write some comments. I'd love to hear from you. Whenever we go on our next travel assignments, probably whenever I'll answer you back, because as the husband of a travel nurse, I kind of get kind of bored. So, hey, thanks, everybody.